Hello,
Abraham.
everybody. Thank you for your patience. I'm so sorry for the delay. We had some technical difficulties, but we figured it out. We are so excited to welcome bestselling authors Susan Mallery and Jill Shalvis as they discuss their books, The Friendship Experiment and The Summer Deal, tonight. The authors will speak for about 30 minutes, and then I will come back in to moderate the Q&A portion of the event. Please submit your questions by clicking on Ask a Question at the bottom of your screen and typing it in there. You can also ask questions through the chat box on the side of the screen, which all of you are using already. If you would like to purchase the summer deal or additional copies of the friendship list from the Doylestown Bookshop, please click the Buy the Books button on your screen. Lastly, I will be announcing the winner of the raffle for those gorgeous California Innovation tote bags at the end of this event. We wanted to let you know that our booksellers have stayed late at the store tonight to pack up all of your books that need to be shipped out, and the first 50 with the goodie bags too. Everyone who chose curbside pickup, your package will be ready for you tomorrow morning. Now a little bit about the authors. New York Times bestselling author Jill Shalvis lives in a small town, and this era is full of quirky characters. Any resemblance to the quirky characters in her books is mostly coincidental. Look for Jill's best-selling award-winning titles wherever books are sold, and visit her website for a complete book list and daily blog detailing her city girl living in the mountains adventures. And number one New York Times bestselling author Susan Mallery writes heartwarming, humorous novels about the friendships that define our lives: family, friendship, and romance. She's known for putting nuanced characters in emotional situations that surprise readers to laughter. Beloved by millions, her books have been translated into 28 languages. Now I'm going to turn the event over to the ladies, and I will be back in for the Q&A. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being patient, everybody. It was me. I'm sorry. I can do this, but the technology defeats me. So thank you for your patience. How are you, Jill?
Good. It's so nice to see you. It's been so long.
It's been like a
I
year.
Missed you. No.
I know, it's sad.
I just want to stare at you.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Jill and I have known each other for years and years. And the girls were very small when we met.
Oh,
and
yes.
We've done some plotting together. So we were together, what, like a year ago, October?
Yes.
In
this
Salt
October
Lake.
Will be, yep.
Where it was incredibly dry. I made them take me to Target to buy lotion.
Oh, yes, it was Salt Lake. The time before that was up in Seattle.
Yeah, but we were in Salt Lake at a reader luncheon, and that was the last time when we were still allowed to go places and hug each other.
Yes. Well, it's nice to see you.
It's good to see you too.
And I have this advanced copy that I just read.
Oh, yay. I have a copy too.
Excited. It was so good. Thank you for that. I can't wait for your readers to read it.
It was fun. It was really a fun book to write, and it was hard because I technically finished writing this a year ago, February, and then there's I'm
This is the hard part, and people probably don't know this. You finished the book so long ago, and you've probably written two since then. You have to actually go back and look about what this book was about.
I do have to remind myself the book was originally going to be out in May, so I had some events scheduled in May. Sadly, hugless events, as this is also a hugless event, and I missed the hugging. But so I refreshed, but it was delayed in publication because of the pandemic. It was put off a couple of months. So for me, it's been, is it now? Is it now? Is it now? I feel like one of the cats. Is it now? So I've been desperate. Yeah, so I'm just super happy it's finally out. It was so much fun to write. You know this. Some books are hard, and some books are not. And this was definitely not hard to write book. So it was just every day I was like, oh, I get to write that scene. And normally, there's like 4 or 5 scenes we're excited to write, and then there's the rest. This time it was just scene after scene. I just desperately wanted to get in and write. So it was fun. It was fun.
I smiled, I laughed, I felt things. It was very nice.
And don't you love Ellen? Her enthusiasm.
Well, she's my favorite. She's by far my favorite.
Yeah, Ellen is, so for those of you who don't know, with the friendship list is about two best friends. They've been friends forever. And Ellen is a single mom. She got pregnant at 16, and she, her son is now he's going to be a senior. So they're talking college, and she overhears him say he can't go to college because he can't leave her. They're such a team. He's afraid she won't be okay on her own because she doesn't have a life. Yeah. And at first she's just like, oh, it's fine. And then she thinks, oh my gosh, I don't have a life. Yeah. So she has to get a life. And her friend Unity, oh, that was weird. We just flipped places on my computer. It's okay.
Mine too.
And she realizes, so she talks to her friend Unity, and other things happen. And Unity needs a life too. She's been a widow for 3 years, and she's also in her mid-30s and is waiting to be old. She wants to be in her 70s because most of her friends are in their 70s for an assortment of reasons. So they challenge each other, and Unity.
They also fight. It's a real relationship.
Have a fight. Yeah, they do. And I think for most of us, that's sort of a middle school, high school thing. Once you're adults, it's rare, at least in my world, to fight with a friend. So the thought of having a fight with a friend, it knotted my stomach. That was hard to write.
Mm-hmm. Well, all is well that ends well.
It was, yeah. No, it was super fun, and it's very funny, and it was good. So, I didn't keep my copy. I have loaned it out, the summer deal, which I got to read really early.
I have it.
There we go. And I have a friend who's like, best book you've read so far, and I give her books. So this was fun, but I got to read it before it was even out, and I really love. Well, first of all, it's a trio. It's 3 people, but it's very unusual to do the girl guy best friend thing. In fact, it's relatively rare, I think, because you always think they've had sex or they're going to have sex. Exactly. Yeah. And is this going a weird place I don't want it to go? Am I going to regret who you've chosen to be the friend and who you've chosen to be the love interest? And then they also have a very interesting connection, the girls do, that is, we know, and one of them knows, and he knows, but
she doesn't know that they know that they know that they know.
Yeah. So how did that come about?
I set out to do pretty much kind of what you did with the friendship list. I had in my head that I wanted to do 2 women, a very real relationship where there's ups and downs, nothing smooth. So I started out in about as down as you could get and worked my way to where they were good. And that was a challenge for me because I want everyone to be good from page 1. Conflict is hard for me. And that's why I thought I was going to have trouble with the friendship list. As soon as they had that fight, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, now I'm uncomfortable.
Right. And then I have to flip to the end to make sure it's okay. It was fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. That's what I told myself the whole time I was writing this book.
And it was fine. It was fine fairly, because the book isn't about them fighting. The book is about them each finding their path. And so, yeah, it's, but yes, I'm with you. Conflict is, I remember years ago.
We struggle with that in plot group too.
We do. It has to have conflict. And I remember years ago attending a workshop, and it was Joan Johnston. And and this stuck with me. When the character opens the door, the person standing there has to be the absolute last person they want to see. And even as she said that, like, the smart side of my brain said, well, of course, that makes perfect sense. But the heart side of my brain was like, no, not that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, the bad. And this is bad because in your book it was fascinating to me how you did this, because the crabby heroine is, we love it as writers in theory, but it is one of the hardest things to do, I think, on the page, because you want to walk the line of she's crabby and grumpy and difficult, but we love her. Right. And that, I think, it is difficult. And in this book, you were masterful at that. You just, you nailed the line because at first I thought, and this is, I'm sorry, I'm editing because I don't want to do a bunch of spoilers.
I'd had to do the same thing.
And but you made her very sympathetic early on, and you told us she was crabby, and I'm like, blah, 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 crabby. And then it's like, oh, we're not kidding. She has some serious attitude, but it's motivated. And because she loves Eli and we love him unconditionally, when she flirts with, I'm sorry, cats, and there's so much cat hair on my face. When she flirts with being like, there were nicer ways to say that. It's like, even if she got a little bit off the line, his love is so solid. It just allows us, it pulls her back because we love it. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And part of it's because we're dancing around a spoiler, but she really has a very good reason to be the way she is. And once that comes out, I think the love that others have for her softens her, and we can forgive some of the things, some of the recent paths she went down.
And I also think the spoiler thing is very hard. We're working really hard.
I know. The book is out, so hopefully people have read it. So
I think what it is a lot of us feel if we faced adversity, we would handle it like, somebody from Friends or, with charm and humor. Most of us are just going to fall on our face and be horrible to be around. And she was that. So there was an element of realness to it it just felt very authentic, because she wasn't going to, she wasn't going to be a movie character. She's a real human being. And so, this is hard to talk about, but really good book. It is hard.
But part of the big picture is, and you have to do this in your books too, and we face this in Plot Group, when you're writing contemporary, like we're writing, there's no tricks, there's no magic tricks for a conflict. There's no ghosts, there's no guns, there's not a zombie apocalypse coming.
There's no dead body.
There's no dead body. And so, it's very difficult to make a believable conflict that takes you to the end.
Well, and I think what we've always talked about is if it matters to the character, it matters. If you've created a good character, if you've created a three-dimensional character, if it matters to the character, it's going to matter to the reader. And
you're the one that taught me that, by the way, the hard way. I've learned, in Plot Group, how hard you work, and so much goes into it. And I've slowly learned to come over to that side. It's so worth it up front. So you're not.
Yes. You develop, you create the world, and then you set it on fire, not literally. Right. But it does make a difference. And so for Ellen, she needs her kid to be okay to go live his best life. And I think every mother can relate to that. And
everyone instantly
yes, you want your kid to go out into the world and live their best life. And
also you're a little embarrassed that he thinks you don't have a life. That's also real.
She doesn't.
Well, she really did not.
She did not. And what's interesting for me in the friendship list was Ellen is like on a path. She's a single mom. She feels she messed up. She wants to make this right. She wants him to live his best life. Unity, and I don't think this is a spoiler, doesn't matter, I'm going to say it now. Unity doesn't believe. When she begins the challenge, she's doing it because she loves Ellen. She genuinely doesn't think she needs to change. She thinks she's fine. And
I love that, how you set that up, because I feel like Ellen knows there's a problem. And Unity doesn't know there's a problem.
Unity just doesn't want to be fighting with her friend who she loves more than anyone now that her late husband is gone. And they have been there for each other all the way through. And so Unity is kind of dragged kicking and screaming. And one of the things I enjoy about her is her unwilling. I love that she's willing to make a sacrifice for someone she loves, because I think that speaks to who she is. But she is kind of dragged against her will. She is dragged through her life. And because of that, she is an observer in a different way than I think most characters are. There's a line where she goes on a date, and it's shocking. It's actually not a date. She meets a guy, and it's a little bit of a setup. And later she's talking to Ellen about it. And Ellen's like, what does he look like? And she says, I don't know. I can't remember anything. He could have been wearing a superhero cape. And Ellen's comment is, pretty sure if he's wearing a superhero cape, that would have been in your memory. You would have recalled that. So I think we can all say he wasn't wearing a cape. So So yeah, I love the dichotomy, and you did the same thing with oh, and the setting. Okay, I know. Complete a sentence. That's what my husband would say if he were in the room. Could you finish a thought?
No.
I love the setting you did because
Oh,
it was
thank
so.
you.
And I know you've written other books there, but the house and the surfing and the brother. Is he getting his own book?
You know what? I have more letters from readers on is that brother going to get a book than I have
Oh,
on
he
the
needs
book
a book.
itself. Yeah.
Oh, you know he's like totally hot and he knows his way around a woman. Yeah, we want to see that.
I think he'll at least get a novella. There's just too many.
Oh no, like a
He
whole
needs a
book.
whole book. Okay.
A
Well, then
whole
I need your
book.
help. I'll need your help.
Maybe with twins. Maybe they're twins. I don't know why that just came into my head.
I love twins.
Who doesn't love twins? No, I mean, not in real life. It's too much work. But
I wanted to ask you about the friendship list. How did you come up with that idea? Because that was not one that we did together.
no, it wasn't. I feel really bad. So a reader wrote me a list, a note, and said, "Would you ever consider writing a book about empty nesters?" And it was late in the day, and I was tired, so I apologize in advance for my crabbiness. I can be crabby too. And I said, not to her. But as I was walking out of my office as I got this message and on my way to the kitchen to start dinner. And it's like, no, they're going to be in their 50s. They're old. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to write about empty nesters. I'll be very respectful in my reply, but no, ew. So I get out you get out the stuff, and it's always chopping onions, always. And I know this because then I have to stop and wash my hands because otherwise I am going to be rubbing my eyes. So I'm chopping the onion and I think, well, what if there's not a they? What if it's just her? And it's like, well, is that interesting? It's like, oh my gosh, what if she was a teenage mom and so she's an empty nester at 36? And then
Perfect.
I get this look and Mike's like, so dinner will be late? And it's like 20 minutes tops. So I run back to my computer and I just start typing up these notes. And it's, that was it. I was very clear on her journey. And so Ellen just came. She was just there. And then I knew she had this friend, Unity. And it's funny, you can sort of tell with my books which ideas I think are going to make it and which aren't, because Unity really, but I have my, hold on, it's right here. It's hidden. Oh, so I have my very thick baby name book. This is a new one because the one I had for like 15 years is very sad. And the note actually says, if you can see, it says Harlow and Harley. And I'm writing a book now with a Harlow. So
I love
anyway,
that.
but the Unity must have just been like, I don't know, wine. But then
I've never even
stuck.
heard that name, but it worked for her.
It did work for her.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm already on the path, which is where Thaddeus. So we sort of have the Ellen and Keith world, and then we have the Unity and Thaddeus
I love
world.
Keith, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Oh, isn't he the best?
Yeah.
I love him.
Perfect
I
for
love
her.
him.
So
Yeah.
steady, so
Well, and
just the
with his
perfect
daughter,
guy.
it's like, don't get
Oh my
pregnant.
gosh. A single dad is
Don't.
always so great.
Yeah, don't get pregnant. That was his mantra with her.
The
Don't
great
get pregnant.
dichotomy about that is, like, here he is wanting Ellen, and he's trying to tell his daughter all things that he doesn't want her to do, but he wants to do with Ellen. So it was very funny.
It was very fun. No, it was it was a fun book to plot. It was a really fun book to write. There's just, I don't know, it was just joy from start to finish, which, as you know, is rare.
Oh my gosh,
It is
so rare.
Sometimes they kick your butt.
Hard, yes.
Yeah.
I did 2 hard books in a row, the summer deal being one of them.
Why was it hard?
It was hard because, I set out to write this book about Bryn, and it was going to be Bryn and Eli, and then all of a sudden Kinsey
Showed up.
popped up, and she would not. She
Go away.
just stole every scene that she was in. You know what I mean? So I sent the first draft to my editor, and I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but there's actually 2 heroines, and they're the story, because she was expecting more of a romance, I think, and
But
it
it
was a
was a
romance
romance.
between these 2 great women.
Well,
So I did not expect that.
and Kinsey's in that relationship.
Yes, she's got a pretty great guy herself.
Oh yeah. No,
But as I was writing it, I realized I was doing like equal stories. And so I told my editor, it's not just this and a romance. It's like these two women are equal, 50-50. Because, we sit in plot group and we decide what percentage every storyline is going to get. And I did that for this. I did, what would Susan Mallery do? So I plotted it out like Susan Mallery would do. And this person had 30%, and this person had 30%, and this relationship had 20, and then the 10. And it turned out those two women were 50-50. And everything else was just fell into place.
Yes, it's true. In plot group, we do sit down. If it's 3 women, is it, 33 equal? And it never is. It's like
there's
40,
always somebody
30,
that's
30.
bigger, right?
Yeah, there's always the main person. And it's, yes, we actually have that conversation.
We
Who
do.
gets what percentage, and
It's
sometimes
when you're
it
doing
works.
a story like the friendship list, where there's a bunch of stuff going on. And you have to make sure, I'm doing this because it's what Susan does in our plot group. You make sure every plot has its line all the way through, and then you shuffle them together. And
Yeah.
So, but these people ignored what I had planned.
And they do that.
They do
Characters can be that way. Yeah, no, they have no respect for us
None.
as authors. They just live their lives. And
They do. But what amused me is that both of these books that we plotted separately from each other are set on a beach. Mm-hmm. That was kind of funny.
Well, yours much more. For you, the setting is a genuine character.
Yes.
My book is set up actually in Washington State, in this fake town in eastern Washington. For those of you who know the area, loosely based on Ellensburg. Thaddeus lives, and that's where Ellen and Keith live. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They both work at the high school. And Thaddeus lives it's downtown Bellevue, for those of you who know the area. He lives in the condos above the Westin, and I saw his condo. I went to a charity event, and it's like, oh my God, I meant to be rich because this is fabulous. So he lives in this great condo. I only saw the living room and the hall bathroom, which I think was bigger than my bedroom. But that's where he lives. So it was funny to me to be like, oh, well, yes, they went to the Cheesecake Factory and they did this and they did this. And then they went to this apartment, or this gorgeous 2-level, you can see forever condo on the 42nd floor. Did not get to see the bedrooms. I'll just pretend that was my online. I love to do online real estate shopping where I go
that's
look.
research. That's research.
It is
It's
research.
allowed.
It is research. And yeah, so
I do a lot
it
of
was
research on Netflix and Hulu and
yeah. I have a friend whose research is iStock photos. She just put something in. Yeah, and then she does it. I got lost in iStock today. So yeah, it happens. So mine is real estate. Real estate porn. That's my favorite. The giant bathroom with the view. So, but yours is much more. Mine, they go to Santa Monica. It's a hysterical scene. And then they go to Santa Barbara. But yours is like genuinely beach centric.
Yeah, I just fell in love with this town. It's I call it Wildstone for the Wildstone series, but really it's in the middle of the state of California on the coast, and it's Avila Beach, San Luis Obispo area, about an hour and a half north of Santa Barbara. And I just claimed it as my own, and I just love it there, so it's easy to write for me. It's a place near and dear to my heart.
Well, and it's not like the Southern California beaches. It's not. It's not hot. It's not popular. It's not. There are less beautiful people.
Speaking
just
of that,
your characters.
Where are you setting whatever you're writing now? Where is your setting?
Oh, it's funny because I so enjoyed my little pit stop in Santa Barbara in the friendship list, and I'm actually setting a book in Santa Barbara, and so that's what I'm working on now.
Another of my favorite places. Love Santa Barbara.
It's really nice. I'm creating my own version of the Winchester house.
Oh,
slightly less crazy, but still this gorgeous. So today they saw the map room, which has maps and globes and travel journals from everybody. I mean, people you've never heard of, and the hero's kind of looking at the maps. He's like, this is a handmade parchment from the 1700s. It's probably needs to be in a museum. And she's like, yeah, sweetie, that's so the least of it. Just keep going. And then they go look at some teacups. So it's really fun. I try to do enough to give flavor. I don't do as much as I want because the readers would find me, and they would beat me with a stick.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually hard to get off of the research train and start writing. A lot of times I'll start writing on purpose, not knowing everything exactly, and I'll put X's, and that forces me to wait until I'm into the story to stop to research, because then I'm in more of a hurry to get back
Right,
to the
because
story.
you don't know how unimportant. Sorry, I did not turn my phone off. That was me, bad me. You don't know how important it's going to be
don't.
later. And you're right, we can lose 3 days.
Yep.
And then you never use the research. It's like, well, that was foolish, but it was a fun little detour. But no, pages.
But that's
pages.
why I often wait until almost the end to fill in the blanks, because otherwise I'll never write the book. I'll go down the rabbit hole, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It can be distracting.
Just
In a
little
really
bit.
fun way.
But the trick is to remember to go back and search XX, because for me, I forgot. Yeah, I've set something up with it. What does XX mean? Oops.
Yeah, no, there's that. It's my thing is last name, because I don't always name everybody. So it's asterisk, asterisk, last name, asterisk, asterisk, and that's what I search for. And if I don't, many of you know my wonderful assistant, Janelle. She's my first reader. And so I'll get back. Did you want to name them? Did you want to give them a last name? Or did you want to just, it's like, and sometimes I owe people for things. Readers have helped me, so I put their last name. So I sometimes
cute.
have a list. Sometimes I don't. And then I have, wait for it, also tucked under my desk.
Oh, so I have that book.
Isn't it the best?
Yes, and you're the one that told me to get it, so I use it. It's amazing.
Just last names. It's fabulous.
What's your writing, your schedule look like when you get up in the day? Do you write all day?
I write till the pages are, once the book is up and running, which is a whole other process.
Rambling Wild Horses.
Once it's plotted, I do about 15 pages a day. My goal is 75 pages a week, most weeks. Not always, but it's, it's the goal. And no, as soon as it's done, I'm done writing. One of the interesting things about our career is the more successful you are, the more you have to do that isn't writing. And so that makes it complicated. So we learn to protect the writing time, because we can burn an entire day, be busy for 10 hours and not have written a word. And the writing is the point of this. The writing's the best part. And so, but for me, that's what I do. I know you are not. You are mobile. You are a mobile writer.
Well, I'm ADHD and not medicated. So I work on a laptop, and I go to the deck, which is where I'm at now, or I go down into the woods. I sit on the cliff where the rivers blow. I go to the lake. But I do write faithfully. I do that before I do anything else. Unlike you, though, I can't do pages. I used to I had to do 12 pages a day, but then I found myself cheating. So I'd get to like page 10, I'd start hitting return. So I had to go to word count. So I do word count. And
word count's hard, because it's like serious
really
now.
hard. It's serious, but you can't cheat.
Well, you can, overly describe things.
Oh God, don't tell me how to cheat. I'll do it. I'll do that if you tell me. And I will quit right in the middle of a sentence if I get to word count. That's how ready I am to be done after 6 hours or 8 hours, or however long it took. I'll walk away till the next day.
Yeah, no. And plus, the advantage of walking away in the middle of a sentence is when you come back tomorrow, you're in the middle of a sentence. You probably don't remember the rest of it, so you have to delete that sentence half and start over. But at least you're in the middle of something. No, there are times I used to joke. I don't get to do this anymore, and I do page count simply because I can't add 75,827 plus some number, which is funny when you think about the fact that I have an accounting degree. But we won't talk about that.
I forget we both have that.
I used to joke that I was out of my office and the fan was still whirring in the shutdown. But it's not like that anymore, because there's so much. Social media is great.
Yes.
That is one, it has to be after pages, because otherwise there will be no pages, but
I know.
Sparkling dialogue, sparkling conversation on social media. And then the 1,001 other things the blogs, do you want to do this? There's a lot. There's
not to mention that sometimes we're in the middle of a book and our editor has gotten back to us with the previous book, the final past pages, or there's they want to know what you're doing next. So you always have to stop and figure stuff out.
Copy edit, and
oh my goodness.
And sadly, not every word is a pearl. So sometimes there are revisions.
Yes.
Isn't that a shocker?
That is a shocker.
Yeah. Yes. and then I have an extra round because the amazing Janelle will read my book and send it back to me with
She's amazing.
track changes. And I have 2 of those sitting there. A novella, I'm starting a new series for the holidays. A novella, and then the first book I can see them. I'm not going to get up and get them for
They're
you.
mocking you.
They're
calling
right there.
your name. Yeah.
Well, it's coming up pretty soon. Not this week, because I figured I'd be pretty distracted. And that requires intense, yes. And then the humor of it all is I don't see typos. My brain fills them in. So Janelle does a typo pass.
Nice.
And so the very first, above my text on page 1, it will say, please make sure you're using the typos corrected version I sent back to you. So on this page, this is what the sentence could be. Because one time I didn't. And she had to go put them all in again because it's like, well, I've done all the revisions. I missed the typos. So yeah, so now she covers her butt. Hold on, we're going to have a little friend visit us. This is Alex.
Alice, you're so beautiful.
He's almost 15 pounds and he's very fluffy and he's hungry. So that's why.
That's a big cat.
It is a big cat. And he loves his mom. So,
Where's Kelly?
Kelly is in the sun. We have sun. And
that's very important.
I know it's shocking, Seattle. So she's working on her tan. And your menagerie is inside, everybody?
Yes, which is why I'm out here because, we're all, we've all been together since COVID started just because.
Yeah. All 27 of you?
All 27 of us, and most of us can work from home, and it's hard to be in the city. They came up from San Francisco because you're in an apartment and you're stuck in a city, and here you can see we have open land, and so you can still feel like you're living your life, kind of. I mean, as much as anybody can be these days. So yeah, it's a very full house, very distracting.
And now there's foster kittens.
Yeah.
They look older though. They don't look young.
These were 15 weeks.
Oh wow!
And they actually went back 2 days ago because she had to hold them long enough till they could get fixed, and now they can be adopted. But today she's getting 2 more, and they're babies. So I'll be taking pictures of them later. They're going to be really little.
Do you know how old they are?
We don't know yet, but we think about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. They're
bottled. Wow! So
they're
she's going to be up all night feeding.
Yes, not me, her.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter. But she's pretty amazing. She takes a lot of foster animals, and you do this when you foster. You do this on your own dime. You have to buy all the supplies and take care of them.
Oh, really? Because here I'm a big supporter of Seattle Humane, and the foster family, everything's provided, including medical.
Nice.
Nice. No, you don't.
Medical's provided.
Yeah, and the food and all that stuff. They do fundraising for it and stuff. So yeah,
that's nice. So bless the heart of all these people who do that. I get the fun part of just patting them and holding them and
socializing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the good part. So yes, and then Lucy is somewhere else because, as we all know, Lucy hates me. And well, she hates everyone. It's not just me. I'm not that special.
She's a cat. What are you going
to do? She's very beautiful. She's the most beautiful of the pets, but very standoffish. So.
Is she too good to come in and say hi to all of us?
Oh yeah, no, she'd never do that. That would just be like appalling. Oh my gosh, no. Ew.
Have you put her in a book?
I have not, and
she should be in a book.
Because she is so unfriendly. She likes
maybe
men.
We'll give her a reason. Let's support her conflict. Let's back it up with some motivation.
So no, I don't actually put in. We had a little poodle before we had Kelly, and Nikki physically appeared as a service dog in a Full Scold book, Cece. But I don't put people I know or pets I know in my books. I don't.
That's fair. I don't do people. It's too hard. And plus, a lot of times real life is weirder than fiction.
And people don't plot well. It's like they're not motivated by what we need them to be motivated by. Or, I can't really share that. I don't do people. Now, if you're mean, I see you being mean to somebody and I will kill you.
Use the name, right? Oh, that's even better.
Oh, yeah. No, like dead parents or a dead person. I don't mean I'll physically kill you on the screen because I don't do that in books.
I'm glad you clarified. Thank you for that.
We don't do that. But if, you were mean, I see you and you were mean to somebody, I will probably make you a dead parent.
Nice. As it should be.
And especially if it was a bad parent. It's like, well, chances are that person was rude or
Have you
something.
ever had someone come back to you and recognize their name?
No, I just do the first name.
Ah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
So, It's like a clerk who was, it's like
Yeah.
the kid doesn't have the extra dollar. Here's the dollar. Don't make them feel worse than they do. That kind of stuff.
You
So-
once told me a story about you were in the grocery. I think you were in the grocery store and someone didn't have enough money, and someone else paid for them. And I just remember that. I remember that story so clearly, and I can't remember if we ended up using it in a book or not. But people should
Oh,
be
that would
very nice
definitely,
around
that
you.
should, yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing. I live in a semi-urban area. We're at opposite ends of the spectrum. I am in a condo. I can only see the outdoors from a distance. But I miss living in the suburbs, going to Starbucks, and somebody had started a, you buy the order behind you.
Oh, that's
And I
nice.
love that. And it's
That's
like,
nice.
it's hard to do in a walk-up because I don't want that. I'm a writer.
Yeah, you don't want to
I
talk.
want my contact from a distance unless I know you and already love you. So to pay it and then they're right there, there's a creepy factor to that. I just can't. That's what drive-ins are for. So you can pay for the people behind you. And they don't know who you are and then you drive away. So, yeah, it was, I miss that, especially at the holidays it would get started and it was like so cool.
Well, I wouldn't mind if someone paid for my drink at Starbucks. That's never happened to me.
Okay, but then you have to pay for the next one. You get that part?
Totally.
It's like,
Yes.
okay.
But just the thrill of having someone like make your day.
It is the first time it happened, it's shocking. And it's like, but I got a shot of mocha. They shouldn't have to pay. It's like, sweetie, it's okay. It's like, well, then I want to, it was just so nice.
That's
It was very nurturing and it felt really good to do that to somebody else. So,
Do you ever get recognized when you are out and about?
oh, please, no, gosh,
No, I never have either.
No, I've never
Never.
seen anyone reading one of my books.
I have seen someone reading one of your books on an airplane.
One
I've
of
never
mine
seen
or one of
anybody-
yours?
One of yours. I've never seen anybody.
I've never seen that. I do like back when we flew, I would, on the long walk back to the restroom,
Check out everyone's book.
I would assume every e-reader, they were reading my book,
Yes,
even though
of
I knew
course.
in my heart that wasn't true. I told myself they were. But no, it's been a lot of books. I've never seen anyone reading one of my books.
How many books have you written? Over 100.
Well over 100. This book is my 150th with Harlequin.
My God.
I know. Plus, I wrote for some other publishers early on in my career. So I've written about 170. I know.
Wow.
I know. Well, I started really young, as did you.
Oh,
and
yes. You were like 2.
I have no skill set beyond this. So I
me
I
too.
need this to work. We have a lot of pets to feed. And
Yeah, like you, I'm uniquely suited to do nothing else.
nothing else. Yeah, no, I completely agree. The advantage is the joy for me, and I know for you too. The writing is such.
So hard.
It is. We're compelled. We have to tell the story. The story must be told. Once started, it must be finished, and to get lost in what those characters are doing and see them through their journey and bring them out the other side it is a magical experience to do, and it is a blessing to be able to do it. So I worry, will all the books get written? Because I've got Post-its here. I'll show you. 'Cause this is my desk is right here. You were not going to see this. I have to write a book with a parrot named Ramon.
Well, of course you do.
That's new. So it's just like, Ramon must have his story. And that just came about from a Facebook video because I get all the animal videos because I like them.
That brings me to another question. Where do you find your inspiration? Facebook?
It depends. Like the friendship list was a reader. I've had more than one book inspired by a reader.
That's amazing.
Sometimes it's just a sentence. Sometimes I'm trying to think, so sometimes it's a song, country music. Every country music,
definitely.
Every country song should be a book.
Absolutely.
And I will listen to a song, and it's usually about the emotions, and it goes so far from what the original song inspiration was. And then there are the songs that I can't find the book. There is an old Joe Diffie song called "Ships That Don't Come In." I have been trying to come up with a book for that song for 15 years. I need to let it go. It is not my book to write. But it's for those who stand on empty shores and spin against the wind, for those who wait forever for ships that don't come in. It's like,
Well, no wonder you can't write it. That's not a happy ending.
Well, no, that's the start. And then it gets funny.
All right. Okay.
I will never, I don't know what the book is, and it's obviously not mine. The fates are somewhere going, honey, not everything's about you. It's about
But it
someone
is.
else.
But
Let
it
it
is.
go. There's another great song called Walking in Memphis. There's Elvis. I don't
yes.
even, I'm not I don't dislike him, but it was never a thing. I
Right.
think
But
I
that's
was.
a great song.
Yeah,
Walking,
but it's like, I don't know what that. So some of it is songs, some of it is reader inspiration. Some of it is, it's logical. I wrote a Christmas book. It's called The Christmas Wedding Guest. It will be out next year. This year is the last Happily Inked book, and it will be a Christmas book. But next year I start a new series in a little town called Wishing Tree, and it's going to be just a seasonal book. So the book was really called Christmas Without Jake, which shockingly got changed to The Christmas Wedding Guest. So the second book is Jake's book.
Nice.
So Jake's getting his own book. And so I know that, and then I've got to go figure out, well, who and why.
That's the hardest part. That, to me, the idea comes naturally, and then developing into a book is where I stumble every time. Then once I have it plotted, I don't usually stumble once I'm writing. It's that section where I stumble every time.
It's that worst part. It's horrible, yes. Jill and I, when we email about it, we refer to it as wild horses. Trying to imagine a stagecoach with 27 wild horses. That's what it feels like. We
and
just
they're all
can't.
Loose.
They're loose, and they
already
won't
over the fence.
They won't go.
Yeah.
Pick a direction, any direction. We don't care what it is. Just pick and go. But no, they just scatter to the wind, and then you've got to get them all back, which is a terrible analogy, but that's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm with you. The plotting, and it is also the place where you have to put in the most work, because this is where the book lives or dies. If the structure is not sound, the book isn't sound. The book doesn't work. And so
I never feel more unlike myself and out of my comfort zone and unhappy as when I'm trying to wrangle the horses together.
Yes.
And once I have the outline, I'm so relieved. I'm so happy, because the writing is the easy part in comparison.
Yes, the writing is the fun part. It is true.
But
when we were baby writers, they used to talk about, people would talk about all this stuff that they wanted to do, but I remember another workshop where they said, you need to love the writing, because that's what you do every day. And it's like, well, the writing is the best. There are some writers who want to edit. There are some writers who want to do research. There are some writers who want to have written. And then there are those of us who want to write.
Right.
And the rest of us gets us to the good part, which is the writing.
I just wish there was a magical button for the plotting, or that I could go to a warehouse in Toledo and buy it.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
I'm popping back on. I wanted to see if this is a good point, if you'd like to start your Q&A.
Oh, of course.
Okay, we have a lot of great questions, which I'm going to go through and ask. The first one is for Jill. It says, hi, Jill. Is there a chance we'll see more of Max in a future book? Both he and Eli had such an interesting backstory to me that I'd be interested in seeing who eventually snares Max's heart.
Was that from me? Because that's my question.
That was Jill. Hi, Jill.
No, I meant, was it from me, not to me? Because that's
it was
my
not.
question for Jill.
It's funny.
It was
I
not.
said earlier that that's like the question I got the most about from the summer deal. There's a very side character named Max, and he was literally just going to, he walked on a couple of scenes and that was it. But he stole my heart. He stole readers' heart. So yes, there will be a story for him. It'll be soon, because I have to start one relatively soon, but I don't have the idea yet. I'm working on it. He needs something special.
He does.
And this is for both of you. How has the pandemic changed your writing time or habits?
Go ahead.
For me, I'm an introvert, a true introvert, and I know people don't always believe that, because I can put it on for a little bit, for parts of it, for moments at a time. But I am so happy at home that, honestly, other than having everyone that is in my life live with me now, my life hasn't changed at all. I mean, I miss Target and I miss going out to breakfast, but that's about it.
I miss, I was supposed to be on tour for 2 weeks, and we're doing this instead. I miss the readers. I miss seeing them. I miss seeing people I see every year. I miss meeting new people. I miss hearing their stories, and I miss the hugs. I miss that we would have physical contact, and I love that we can do this. and in some ways I sort of feel like I reach more people, because at an event I will speak for 30 minutes and then I'll sign for a couple hours, but there's no talking. But there is hugging. And so that's been a big change. I'm with Jill though. I'm an introvert. This is super, the writing is what we do. And, I'm home, people are like, oh, it's hard to learn to work from home. It's like, yeah, I've been doing that a while. Here's the trick. You time your laundry. You don't want the buzzer going off at a bad time. So you just got to time the laundry.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one is both of you. Both of you do such a great job of using dialogue to move your stories along, as opposed to just telling us what's happening. That's a real gift. Do you have any tricks for writing dialogue and getting it right?
I actually learned from Susan. You're a master at writing dialogue. My only trick is after I'm done with a book, I read it out loud to myself. And if I'm not laughing, then I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have to feel all the emotions. So there's a reason I don't do horror or thrillers, because I don't want to be afraid. And I just don't enjoy that. I want to be happy. So, but if we don't feel it, you don't feel it. And when you think about writing, it is the weirdest thing. So our job is to create a scene that triggers emotions in someone we've never met, we will never meet, and we have no control over the circumstances in their life. That's really what we're trying to do, is take you on an emotional journey, and everything around that is simply, it's like a tortilla chip. You really just want the guacamole, but it's rude to use your hands, so you use a tortilla chip. So for me, dialogue has been one of those things. I had to learn to plot, but dialogue was one of the things I brought to the table. So I hear it and see it in my head. It's not like a movie, if only. It's a little more scattered than that. But when it's clicking, I'm typing. I'm a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if you do this, but sometimes when I'm writing a scene, I do the dialogue first and then I go in and fill it in, because the dialogue's so clear to me. The character, I just know exactly what's going to happen. So I'll do just that first sometimes.
I never do that, and I think it's wrong. No, I'm kidding. But no, I don't do that.
Oh my.
So I'm sorry, and I did not answer the question. Read it out loud. Jill's right. Read it out loud.
Read it out loud.
Needs to sound
not stilted.
Yes, and we also don't write the way we talk, because most conversations are very scattered, and in dialogue it's very
especially
specific.
between you and me, because I think you're probably as ADHD as I am.
I am, and I am also unmedicated, unless we're counting, the wine.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, here's a question for Susan. Let's see. Are you ready to go more Hollywood and have your books turned into a series?
Of course. Awesome. Hollywood is just, they're like the bad boyfriend who won't call you back. Yes, I'm very slutty. Feel free. Take my book. Take it. Here. It was fun. I've had a movie made, and it was a glorious experience, and I enjoyed. You've had that too. Mm-hmm. They did a fantastic job. She was Marry Me at Christmas. It's still available to watch on the Hallmark Channel. And she has the best. If my curly hair looked like her curly hair, I would currently have that, but no. And her coat wardrobe was spectacular. We should all have a wardrobe of coats like
and you
that.
Had great actors. You had great cast.
And Trevor Donovan. So cute. So cute.
Wow.
He was in another book he doesn't know. But he inspired me, and he's, for those of you who care, he's Dugan in Sisters by Choice. Yeah.
Nice.
Just close your eyes. It's a beautiful visual. Anyway, yeah.
And then Jill, the same question for you. Are you ready for a Hallmark series or movie, or Netflix series?
Anything. I'm a hoe too. I'll take whatever I can get. I did have one made, The Trouble with Mistletoe, and you can stream it from Amazon or buy it off of Netflix. And I would love to do it again. I mean, when this is done, I don't know if this was your case, Susan, like you have no control over anything, really. You're just selling them your story. They can do whatever they want with it. I don't care. It's a thrill for me. I just love it.
One day a DVD shows up in your mailbox, and it's like, I love you, little
Nothing
DVD.
better.
Oh yeah, and then you just sit there, and it's like, and you get to see your name.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's right. That is
it.
the
That's
extent of it.
Nothing else is. It doesn't matter. I'm in.
Okay. Here's another one for both of you. I know that there must be some relief when you finally finish a book, but do you ever wish you could just keep writing because you've fallen so hard for your characters? Also, is there a particular character that this rings true for more than others?
You go first.
For me, I really do deal with some attention issues. You might have caught that in our conversation. I'm ready. I'm done. When we're done, when they're done, I'm done. I'm
Done.
out because I have the next. I'm already like starting to mentally work on the next book, and the book I haven't written is the best book I'm ever going to write because I haven't messed it up yet. So it's so exciting to like go write that book. And then it gets hard and all that stuff happens. But no, I'm usually ready to go when it's done. Yeah.
I do almost the opposite of that. I get to the end and then I start to panic because I have to do it all over again with the new people.
Oh,
and I know
really?
these people and I trust these people and I love these people.
And they love you.
And they love me and I know them. And the best part is I've already almost written the end. So I don't have to think too hard anymore. I'm probably in the epilogue and it's
interesting.
all lovey-dovey, happily ever after stuff. And the panic of knowing, because first of all, let me go back. I hated the process to plot the book. And then I enjoyed the process of writing, and then I hated the process of revising. So it was such a mental a roller coaster, right? And knowing I have to do that all over again sometimes is it's overwhelming for me sometimes to know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm always excited about the next one.
Let's see here.
It's
All right,
shiny.
this is also for you
It's true.
both. Have you ever had a character never leave you alone, wanting their story to be written to the point where they disrupt your normal everyday life, keeping you up at night?
You know, it's
Go
funny
ahead.
because when I do end a book, when I finally grasp that I'm really going to have to turn this sucker in, I'm really going to have to start a story over, I literally have to kill the people off in my head so that I have to completely forget their story to start something new. So it's actually rare that that happens. So it would happen with maybe someone in the book who didn't have a story, like Max, for instance, from the summer deal. So it does happen, not as much as I would like it to, because like I said, I have to mostly kill those people off to start something new.
I keep an idea file, and what happens is I'll write down an idea. It's not very much. It's usually a few sentences, and then I walk away. And if I'm still thinking about that idea in a week, it's going to be a book. If I go back in 6 months, every 6 months or so, I flip through the file, and it's like, yep, nothing there. So it depends. If it's not like it disrupts my life to the point where I can't drive or anything, but if I'm thinking, well, what about this? Like with the Christmas Without Jake story, it just got bigger and bigger in my head. And I thought, I know where this is going. And so at some point it just clicks over and it's like, okay, you've made the cut, you're going to play pro ball. Yeah, it's that. If it doesn't leave me alone, then it's probably going to be a book. And if it's something I don't write, then it gets complicated because I write what I write. And if there's a weird idea, I have to figure out a way to make that work in my writing life. I have an editor I used to work with, and she used to joke that she wanted me to write Ebola on a submarine. And I made that joke to my current editor, who didn't get the humor, and she went white. So stay in your lane. I'm not doing Ebola on a submarine. It's a joke. It's humor. But every now and then I think, oh, that would be good on that submarine book. So.
I have two files. I have the wanna write file, and then I have this file of story ideas that come to me that aren't what I write. So like I have a witch's story, I have a ghost story, I have a thriller. I'm never going to write them, but
I have a
to
thriller.
write
Yes,
them down.
I actually learned about crypto. Poor Janelle had to listen to me talk about cryptocurrency. I can talk about Bitcoin. I get it. I understand it. Sort of. It took a long time. It took a book written by a 12-year-old, and then I was able to fully grasp it. But no, I'm never writing the thriller. Although I have a really good idea.
All right. So I think you both mentioned that you have accounting degrees. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So were you accountants then? And did you have other careers?
Did you work as an accountant, Susan? Never.
No, you just have the degree.
I walked out of, I started writing in college, and I was 18 months from graduating. I knew it was what I wanted to do. I had a job with a big six, back then it was a big six accounting firm. Now it's probably just the one. And I walked out of accounting CPA prep and said, I don't want to be an accountant. I want to write romance novels. So no, I never, I had a summer job as a bookkeeper, which is in no way, I didn't know anything. I had accounting one. So what about you?
I was a full charge bookkeeper while in college. And so that's why I originally went the accounting route. And halfway through, I thought, I hate this. So I started a second major in journalism.
Oh,
And I
wow.
loved it so much. And I would write these stories and I'd get F's and I'd take them to my professor. Why did I get an F on this? What am I doing? He says, you're lying. Because I was adding to the story. I was making stuff up, and you're not supposed to do that in nonfiction, apparently, whatever. So I switched over to
All those
fiction.
rules.
I know those rules.
Wow.
Okay. Do either of you have an older series you would like to revisit with the new title?
With the new
You mean
title.
rewrite it or just republish it? Or
I think revisit. It says Susan is headed back to Fool's Gold for a novella.
yes.
They reference that, so I know series.
Was that to revitalize the
title.
series and come back to
I-
it? or-
Looks
I
that
would
way.
love to go back and rewrite every single book so it was better, but that's kind of not going to
Not
happen.
me.
So.
I don't want to go back. I've killed them all off. But
know.
I do.
So you-
I do love some of the actual series, and I would like to go back and add books to the series, brand new books like Lucky Harbor and the Animal series, and I mean every series I've ever written. I would love to revisit and add more to, but I don't want to rewrite anything.
No, I don't want to, but I feel every one of them, every one of mine could be, better.
No.
Do you read your books, Jill? Do
No.
you go back and read them?
No.
I don't
kill
read them,
and
but I
don't
do
look again.
listen to them.
You do?
On audio. Yes, and it's fascinating because some of it, it's like, well, that's not bad. Some of it I wince, some of it I sob, and not because it's sad or in an emotional way. And I learn interesting things. For example, the word interesting can no longer be used in my books because it is the most common word, even more common than the in a couple of books.
Now tell me this. I'm sorry, I'm asking her a question as if I had typed it in. Let's pretend I did. Whenever I write, and every book is different, there is a word that I repeat to an embarrassing degree.
Oh, it's awful.
Embarrassing, awful.
Yes.
And every book is different. Does that happen to you too?
Yes, every time. It's
Why?
like I had a book where they all waved. It's like they were those balloon things at the gas station. Stop waving, people. Just leave the room. You don't have to turn and wave. And so I've asked, Janelle looks and my editor looks. It's like, tell me what the word is for this one and let's take them all out. Oh yeah. And then it's like, everything has to be beautiful or everything is whimsical or it's like, oh my God.
There's always something. In the book I'm writing now, it's their gazes met.
Oh,
Their
or
gazes
locked.
meet. Or
They lock,
yes.
yes. Yes. I feel like the book I'm in, everybody is like sighing too much. So I'll have to go back and check that. Even the men are sighing.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny you're talking about that. A few weeks ago we had an author event and they discussed this same thing. They had these words that they realized they were using so much.
I think it's
much.
natural.
It's
I think
just
it's
a
just part of the
favorite-
process.
Yeah.
It is. And sometimes I'll do the global search and then wonderful will come up 167
It's so
times. It's
embarrassing.
like,
And sometimes it'll come up too many times that it won't even show you them.
Yes.
Right in the sideline, in the what's it called? In the
Yeah,
sidebar,
the little bar
because
thing
there's
on
too
the side,
many.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know. You
oh
screwed
yeah,
up.
no, then it's a disease and you need help. Yes,
Yeah.
I completely, that's what I like about listening to the book because there's so much information and
Yeah.
it's a little bit distant, but here's the funny part. I cannot listen to my sex scenes. So now it's fine because it's on my phone and it's easy. But when I used to do the MP3 files,
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to fast forward in an MP3 without going too far.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have it in my car and I would just turn it down and then wait 30 seconds. And it was horrible to come back, like nipple. It's like, ah.
Oh no.
So I could not listen to, and then I worry about my narrator, Tanya, this poor woman has to read. Does she read in the morning? I mean, does she narrate like with coffee? Anyway, sorry.
Does she need a
Tangent.
cigarette after? I don't know.
Oh, or is she just like, ew, I have to take, ugh. No, it was no. So I don't know. And I kind of know her. And it's like, sometimes I think about Tanya. It's like, I don't know if I want her to read that. Maybe she could just skip that part.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's why I don't go back and reread myself or listen to myself. I don't think I could do it.
Okay. All right, here's another question for both of you. The cover art is always so beautiful and creative on your books. The question is, how do you choose your book cover art, and what is the process to create and choose the art?
We're laughing because for the most part they send us our cover, and
Right.
we can give suggestions, and we see, oh
Right.
God, please no, or okay, you're close. But they don't. At least in my case, I don't get to start with the creative from the beginning to the end. I get to add my opinion, and that's about it.
Well, we start with concepts and it just goes from there. And we have very different senses of what the book should be. Friendship Bliss is like
have beautiful covers.
a super winner. I mean, but there was one where I was just like, the house on the hill is where you take the body to dismember it. And that's not what I write. I'm sure they just, when they know they're prepping covers with me, that everyone drinks that day, because I think I'm difficult. I don't mean to be, but I suspect I am not the easiest of authors. And then it starts to get crazed. My agent and Janelle both have a font thing going on. So I will check out of that. When the font emails start, they just need to remove me from the list because I've lost interest and wandered away. And now the inside is just plain because we spent 3 years going over, is there a thing there? Is there a ring or a bee or a cake? Or it's like, could we just not do anything? Because that's what they gave you. That's what they gave me. And I'm perfectly fine with the nothing. But if you go look at other hardcovers, a lot of them have a thing. It's an iconic little thing that is relevant to the book. But at that point, again, I lose attention and I wander away, and you will find me later. Well, not anymore, but used to find me at the mall. No, I can't do it. And I'm not artistic. I don't have that skill set. I can just look at it and say yes or no. But this one and a lot of mine, I'm very lucky, are complete. They're gorgeous. This is gorgeous.
Way. It's very lucky.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. This question is for Jill. Says, I follow Jill on Twitter, and I know she writes outside. Being in Tahoe, when is it too cold to stay outside? And do you hike to your spots or do you drive?
I do both, hike, or if I want to go far, I drive. I don't like to do that because it takes away from the writing time. And I'm always, I don't know if you feel this way, Susan, when it's the morning, I'm a little panicked until I start writing. I get a little OCD about it, so I can't take too long to get to my spot. And plus, I'm going to change my spot, 25 times throughout the day. So I actually stay very close, usually within walking distance. And it's too cold when because I'm on my deck right now, and my husband bought me one of those little portable fire heaters so I can put it right next to me. And I have a fire, and it's crackling, so it's perfect. And I have very expensive, ridiculous gear for like skiers, to be outside and not get cold, and I never get cold. So it's never. I can write outside all year long. I get too hot, and then I have to go inside.
Yeah.
I have a desk.
How do you sit at a desk all day? It's not hard.
It's when I sit down, it's what I do. It's just what I do. I could not work outside. There's bugs, ew. And nature.
Yeah.
What is that? And bears and bobcats, I don't like.
We have a lot of bears and bobcats this year.
Yeah, nature should be safely behind glass as God intended. That's where it belongs. Away from me.
It's funny how different we are.
We'll do a few more of these. Is that okay?
Of course.
Sure.
Okay. This is for Susan. Do you plan for the kids in the friendship story to have their own story?
Oh, that's interesting. They should.
That is interesting. Not at this time.
Maybe
I can be guilted into doing things, but not at this time. Occasionally, I've done that. I wrote a book years ago called Sweet Talk, Sweet Spot. It was a trilogy set in a bakery because the research was good. And there was a teenage boy, Raoul, and he, not to be confused with Ramon, who's going to be the parrot. Yes.
Parrot.
Raoul, and he was a great kid. And I was writing another series, and a reader sent me an email and said, so is Raoul one of your heroes? And as soon as I read it, it's like, I wrote back and said he should be, but I'm just not that smart. So I will put him in another book as an adult. You're right. He'd be a great hero. So he is the third book in the Fool's Gold series. He's Pia's hero. And, but usually, no, I don't. It's I don't know that we want to see the hero and heroine in their 60s. Do we want to see that? I don't know. I'm not sure we want to leave them where they are really happy. I don't know that we want to continue the journey with them. I'm not 100%.
I did that one time in Lost and Found Sisters. There was a teenage character. She was a secondary heroine, actually. And then I got a lot of letters about her, so I wrote a novella for her set 10 years in the future, and I just didn't bring all the other characters with me. It was just her story starting anew. And she was 26, so I aged her 10 years. But it would have been impossible for me to do if I had to bring the heroine and hero from the previous book in, because I don't want to write them in their 50s or 60s.
Yeah, I did. And when we found home, there was a 12-year-old, Kira. And I finished the book, and I knew we had to know she was okay. And so I wrote a novella, and I didn't tell anybody. And then I turned the book in, and then I called my agent and said, so I accidentally wrote this novella for Kira.
Did a thing.
And she's like, I slipped. It just happened. I slipped, and there it was. And she's like, so she's so good. My agent, the first thing she said is, did you not complete her story in the novel? And it's like, I did.
But
she was
young.
12
Right.
or 13. Yeah. So I've done that as well, where I'm not quite done.
Oops.
So I guess sometimes I'm not quite done.
Okay. Oh, this is a pretty good one. What is your favorite thing about your advanced readers groups, Susan's review crew and Jill's Bookaholics?
Oh, first of all, I mean, I love readers so much, and I love this group so much because they read my advanced reading copies, and they talk up the book for me and bring new readers to the table. There's nothing better than that. They're amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And this may be a secret that I'm sharing with you, but most of us writers, we're incredibly insecure because everything we do, we're by ourselves. And then the book goes out into the world and we don't know if anybody's going to like it or not. I mean, you don't know. It's just, and I don't think Jill or I or either of us are the writer who's like, oh, I write for the word. It's like, no, I write to be read. I want people to enjoy what I've done. And so the second day, third day, fourth day, going onto Amazon, which I'm not allowed to do, but sometimes I do.
I'm not allowed to either. I can go on day one and that's it.
And seeing, there's 21 reviews, there's 65 reviews, and the best is when it gets like 587 reviews, and I don't have anywhere near that many people in my review crew. So it makes me happy to know that they love the book, and it makes me feel better emotionally. It's like, okay, I can breathe. People are liking the book. It's okay. I can start, the chest tightness goes away.
Yeah, because we are alone all year long, and it's so nice to have someone validate, like you told the story to share it, and it's so nice to have someone enjoy what you're sharing.
Yeah, absolutely, because otherwise it's just, it's
You're just
sad.
telling yourself a story.
And I'm just going to put this out there. I can recite the bad reviews. They're burned in my brain, and they break my heart.
Be grounded from Amazon.
I know, and I can't work for 3 days, which is why I don't read them or go on Amazon or anything. No, it's bad. It's crushing. It's crushing.
We have a lot of folks asking how they can become a part of your review crews. Is that something, if they go to your websites, they can find?
How do you do it, Jill?
I wait until people have dropped out or can't keep up, and then I go on to Facebook or through my news. First of all, the best thing you can do is sign up for our newsletters, because I often in my newsletter will say, hey, I'm looking for new people, so please contact me at. And you can sign up for both of our newsletters on our site. Mine's very visible. If you go to jillshalvis.com, it's in the upper right-hand corner. And I think Susan, yours is very visible as well.
Mine is very visible too. And I do the same. We, when every book there are people who just don't want to or can't or whatever. And so there are always slots available. It is difficult. There are like 5 or 10,000 people applying for every open slot.
Wow.
So we literally use random.org.
Yes.
And
don't take it personally if you're not picked, because
exactly.
it's 5 to 10,000 people asking to do it.
Right.
We pull the names out of a hat and hope for the best.
And I used to, when we could travel, I would sometimes give away slots at events, but thus far, not so much with the travel this year.
So sign up for our newsletters and
the newsletter always
crossed.
has the info, and we post on Facebook too. Usually we post on Facebook, but run it through the website, I think.
Okay. And one last question: who are your go-to authors? Who are your favorite authors?
Boy, that is so hard, because I always usually refuse to answer this question, because
I do
inevitably
too.
I'm going to leave someone out and hurt their feelings.
Yes.
But I will say this: every week I get Entertainment Weekly, People, Us, and the TV Guide. I will read the back of a cereal box. I read outside of my genre. I read so widely that I truly couldn't even tell you. Right now I'm reading Stephen King. I'm stuck on thrillers right now, and so unlike you, I enjoy being scared. So I'm not even reading in my genre, which I can't read my genre when I'm actually in the middle of a book anyways. It's too hard when I'm writing.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I once left out a very, very close friend of 20 years. So I also don't give names because it does hurt people's feelings, and that's never my intention. So I love romance in women's fiction, and I can't read it when I write it. So that's about 50 weeks a year. So I will jam.
So sad, because that's all.
And it is sad. So I do read outside of my genre. Right now I'm reading a lot because I don't want to be scared. I'm actually reading a lot of cozies, because it's like cartoon violence. They're dead, but it's like Scooby-Doo death. I can handle that. That level of scary death is fine. Anything above. There are parts of Buffy the Vampire Slayer I have never seen, even though I've seen every episode conservatively 25 times, because there's some stuff I have never, well, not the episode where her mom dies. That one I only saw the one time because I can't watch that. But there's parts I haven't seen. So yeah, cozy is about as far as I can go.
That's fair. That's very fair. Well, I want to take this time to announce the winner of our big raffle. The winner is Tina Versaw. And Tina won the California Innovations insulated tote bags.
Tina, and they match the cover.
They do. So Tina, we have your address. You gave fantastic swag.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Those bags are going to be shipped out to Tina. We have your address because you ordered your book from us. So we'll take care of that for you, or the publisher.
Fantastic.
Yes, it'll be
Thanks for having me, by the way.
Well, thanks for coming. This is a big deal out of your day. And there were no bears. I was concerned.
No bears that we know of. I was hoping you were going to get to see one, but no.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you both. And I'd like to remind everyone, if you need to pick up a copy of either of the new books, you can click the Buy the Books button on your screen.
Oh, you've got them both.
Yes. If you need the summer deal or the friendship list or both, I would think you would need both at this point. Click the button on your screen and it goes right to our website. Great summer reads. Susan and Jill, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Sure, thank you for having us.
This is wonderful. And good luck on the rest of your virtual tour.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Have a good night.